Hello and welcome to the Flory Models 12 Days of Christmas, or as I'm calling it, the 12 Tools of Christmas. Now, these are 12 tools that I've picked out that this year have really enhanced my modeling, or also something else where I think that they might enhance your modeling. All right, so to go through with them, some of them you would have seen me talk about them for years. Some of them might be brand new to you. So I thought it might be quite interesting. All right, so first up we're going to look at is something I've been harping on around for ages, but a good pair of nippers. All right. So, again, this is one of those things. There's lots of different nippers out there on the market and all the rest of it. There's some a lot cheaper than this. There's some a hell of a lot more expensive. But if you want to go middle of the road and all the rest of it, I think it's really hard to beat the Display ones. I've had this particular pair now for a good couple of years, and I've been hacking through absolutely everything with it, including clear parts, which I know I shouldn't, and the odd little bit of copper. So, but they have still performed admirably, and they give you pretty much a sort of, a clean cut. You're still getting a little bit of a nib behind. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. They're not as good as the Godham ones, but they are a lot cheaper than the Godham ones. All right. And I think from a balance point of view of cost over performance, I think these are literally the sweet spot. So there we go. That's number one, obviously down in here. Links will be down below where you can find all these things as well. So a good pair of nips, I think, really does help with your modeling just like that. All right, so that's number one. Number two, something where I have spoken about before, but a pair of magnifiers, something as cheap as a £10 pair of magnifiers, which these ones are. I'm not going to say which brand they are because there's hundreds, you know what Amazon's like and places like that. But actually, if you come along and you put on a good pair of quality magnifiers like this, your work will improve. You will see things that perhaps you've missed, certainly things like seam lines, and doing detailed work, if you're like me and the old eyesight's getting a little bit bad, will help you out no end at all. I like this type because I can look over them as well as, through them. So when I'm wearing them, for instance, I like these because I can talk to the camera. I can see you clearly. If I'm looking at reference stuff, if I'm looking down at a book, then I look through the actual magnifier and I can see actually what I'm doing with it. Again, these ones, they're just cheap. They won't last forever. And if you're like me, I tend to go through a pair about once a year. Funnily enough, these broke on me last week. And this is about my fourth pair now. I think this is the fifth pair here, so that I'm into now on the new ones. Again, you've got magnifications from 1 through to par 5, all right, with some steps all the way between them. And again, it's just something where I think if you're, especially of a certain age like me and your eyesight's just getting a little bit off, you put these on, it's like looking through HD. So if you haven't got a pair of magnifiers, I suggest you go out and get one. Obviously, like all this stuff here, you can spend a fortune on it or you can go really cheap. I'm just saying bang for buck, I think these are pretty good. And I use these pretty much almost every day of my life, and they last about a year. Pretty disposable at the end of the day. The other thing I'm going to speak about is clearly the Fender airbrush. Now, this is something I've been speaking about for the last couple of years, and it couldn't be in this list. Well, it couldn't go without being in this list. All right. This is a £20 airbrush, and for the last 20 years of my career doing this professionally, I've spoken about other ones like Iwata, obviously Harder and Steenbeck. Don't go cheap, pay for what you get, and all the rest of it. I take it all back now. I've got 3 of these now. They are literally my daily drivers. I can prove it because this one's covered in paint. All right. So down in here, you can see daily driver. It's covered in paint. In fact, I can tell you it's still got paint in it. That's how I roll. All right. This is a £20 airbrush. You've got everything that you need onto it. Obviously, you've got double trage. So we've got down for air, pull back for paint. You've got a MAC valve built in. You've got a retraction, so you can pull straight back here as well. And obviously, you've got a retentioner as well, so you can dial in how much trigger you want. If you're a lacquer painter like me, I have mine set for half because you never need any more than that, but it is really, really straightforward. I know a lot of people have criticized it because of its build quality and stuff like that, but again, we're talking bang for buck here. We're talking a £20 airbrush. Bearing in mind, pretty much everybody else, needles and nozzle sets will cost you more than £20, so it's almost a disposable item. With this particular version that we've got down in here, which is the one I sort of recommend, which is the FE 180K. There's more expensive versions of these and there's cheaper. I think, again, this is the sweet spot for it, but you do get a 0.2 nozzle set into this one, and you actually get the 0.4 as well. So you get full, complete nozzles and needle assembly with this one, and you get a hose, and you get all the tools, and you can get pipette and all the rest of it. So again, if you want to get yourself into airbrushing, something else like that, honestly, you won't go far wrong with this. The 0.2 needle on this is very, very fine. If you are starting off, you'd probably be better off going with the 0.4, which is obviously in this kit. And again, it's just a really really solid piece of kit. It does come in a hardened case and all the rest of it. And as I say, I've had a few of these now and I absolutely love them. They just, one of these airbrushes where I'm waiting for it to fail. And if it does fail and go, I wouldn't blame it. But to date, I'm still on my original needles and nozzles and things like that. I haven't had to change them out. And I literally cannot find a fault with these ones. And I am a lacquer painter. And to be honest, I put some Rema through it the other day and left it soaking overnight into it. The seals were all absolutely fine. I know people worry about the seals and stuff like that. The other one, which is introduced to me this year as well, is this little guy. So this is the little mini drill. Again, by Display. There is other versions out there. If you look around on the old interweb, you can find them. It's USB chargeable. You've got a little Allen key in here for changing out your various drills in here and all the rest of it. It is a little bit finicky on the size for it, I will tell you that, but it's designed obviously for their range of tools and that. To be honest, you can put a drill bit in there and just bore it out by literally half a mil, quarter of a mil, and then you can fit anybody's into it just like that. All right, you've got a couple of Allens in there as well, but literally it is nice slow speed. Press it again. If you go 2, you can go 2 speed, 3 speed, and then obviously that's your 3 speed onto it. You've also got a torque indicator. So if I put some torque into this, you can see it's in the red there. And again, it means it's obviously struggling. So if I slow it down, you can see it getting more, and then you go red, means it's really struggling with it. Down the bottom here, you've got your 3 lights is obviously your power levels. So obviously 2. Okay, it's going, there we go. 3, your power levels down in there, and obviously your battery indicator as well. So it's USB, and I've been using this thing, and this little guy here is really, really nice. It literally is a great bit of kit. It doesn't cut through your fingers, you can see, but for sanding and that, and this is the one that actually comes with it. So technically you don't need anything else. And again, I like it. It's small, it's compact compared to my other daily drive, which I used for years beforehand, which is this one, which we spoke about. And again, it's nice, don't get me wrong. It does do the job. This one's got a slightly better variable speed to it. But it's big, it's chunky, and to be honest with you, this one's just a little bit nicer. It's literally like a pen. So if you're doing sanding work, you're doing a little bit of carving work, things like that, this thing is absolutely beautiful. Also have to say, I think the battery on this one lasts a lot longer than it does on this. My downside to this one, if you leave this one on, it will then basically discharge itself. So you go to use it, you've got no battery. So make sure you switch this one off on the wall as you do that one. But this is a great little bit of kit, and I absolutely love it. And as I say, I've been using it all of my modeling all the way through as we speak on this one. On to Display, because clearly I'm a fanboy, because I have to say this green, because otherwise you'll kill me, is the deburring tool. All right, so the little deburring tool down in here is a great little thing. They call it a broach, I call it a shank. Technically, it's a deburring tool or a seam scraper. All right, what's really nice about this one is that you've got 2. You've got the lethal pointy end for getting into really those nooks and crannies. You can also carve with it as well. Sometimes if I'm carving, I actually carve out with it and stuff like that. And the other nice one as well, at the other end, we've just got a standard chisel end, which are really very, very nice bits of kit for this one, because again, for scraping. So you can actually put this down and just scrape back and forth, or you can chisel with it as well to taking off raised detail. I've been using it solidly this year all the way through, and to be honest with you, it's still on its original blade. And again, nice thing to this is you can replace the blade. You haven't got to replace the entire thing. You just got a little grub screw, slide it out, then you can put a new blade into it and everything else. And it's not terribly expensive. I think replacement blades are about £8 for it. And again, really is a very, very nice piece of kit. All right, so that one is your broach one for that one. Next up on the Display stuff as well, and I spoke about these earlier in the year, really do like a good quality pair of tweezers. For years I used, and I've actually thrown them away now. I haven't, I've still got them. I used to use other cheap brands and things like that. And yeah, whilst they do work, a good quality pair of tweezers really is fantastic. And again, you can get all the different ones down in here. I've got these plastic, which are sort of anti-static heads for them, so electricity can go through them. These are great for holding parts. They don't ping off as much as everybody else's and things like that. But again, they're lethally sharp, which is great. So when you want to remove things like masking tape and masking, generally things like that, you can literally hook it and peel it off, and it will grip incredibly well. And again, though, after coming from using cheap tweezers, that going on to these has been literally like night and day. So again, they won't break the bank. They're pretty cheap as you go through. But again, sometimes you'll hear me say that obviously, spending a little bit extra is worth it. When I talk about airbrushes, I'm talking the lie there, because you can get away with it quite cheap. I haven't found cheap tweezers to work like this though. You know, they do work really, really well. And again, they've been night and day. I use them all the time. It's a daily driver all the way through with that one. Okay, next up is AK's 3rd gen thinners. All right, so this is the acrylic version down in here, as you can see. Now this stuff is really, really weird, and I can't explain why it's so good and why I like it. But whereas before I always used to use Tamiya's X20A for anything that born, you know, alcohol-based type thinners, if you like, for that type of paint, 3rd gen thinners, there's just something in it that works really, really well. And it makes spraying acrylics a total delight. There's obviously a little bit of a retarder in this one, and there's obviously a little bit of a leveling agent into it, because you do get fantastic, nice results. And it doesn't matter if you're spraying AK 3rd gen paints, or if you're using it on Tamiya, or sort of, you know, Guns Aqueous range, things like that, or anybody else's acrylic type of stuff. This stuff just really, really works. I've gone through bottles of this, as Matt will testify, and it is just very, very good stuff. So if you're an acrylic painter, you might want to have a go with this stuff, because for whatever reason, and honestly, I can't think why or how it works that well, but it just seems to improve my modeling this year no end since I've been using this stuff. And also the thing is, when I used to spray traditional with Tamiya paints, for instance, I'd always get a little bit of texture. That I do not get with this stuff. But you marry it up with its own stuff, like they're too far away, they're on my rack over there, 3rd gen acrylic paints, they are beautiful. They just work really very, very well. So again, you might want to give them a little bit of a whirl. Can't go on, obviously, without actually pushing my own stuff. So the Flory Models washes. It's actually 20th anniversary in 2025. So we've got a bit of a special year for the wash with lots of things and things like that. But yes, after all these years, as you say, we've had these done for them. You might be so on getting these coming through now with the QR code on there as well. But it has been 25 years of the wash, and it's been, you know, one hell of a ride all the way through. But obviously I stand by my stuff and my product, and I always have done all the way through. It just works. And I think what annoys people the most, two things. Firstly, they didn't pick up on it years ago, because it is that simple. And that's the second thing. It is that simple. You brush it on, you let it dry, you rub it off. That's it. You can do so many more things with this, as I've shown in videos, and you're going to get some more videos coming out, obviously, beginning of this year to celebrate the anniversary about using the wash. But again, it is literally that simple. We've got 9 colours in the wash right the way through, as you can see. So again, if you want to get yourself into your weathering and you want to make it as simple and easy as possible, honestly, I have never found anything as easy as this, which I know I'm selling it and I manufacture it and all the rest of it. But the reason I did this is because when I used to do commission work, I needed models to be weathered to a certain standard and out the door as fast as possible. So that's why I came up with this. And the only reason I'm selling it is because people wanted it as well. I had it and I used it for years and years and years. And then people were saying to me they wanted it. So we ended up manufacturing it. And now we sell over 15,000 bottles of that every year. So yeah, thank you to everybody who supported the wash over the years as well. Next up is the markers. Again, I'm not specifically pushing this particular brand of AK ones. I do like them. I don't think they're perfect, and I think their color range is a little bit nah. But using marker pens in modeling has been a complete game changer for me this year. Obviously, if you were joining in with some of the live shows recently, you'll know we did this little fella, and he is completely done with nothing but the marker pens all the way through. I'm really hopeful that they're going to bring out some more colours, a little bit more useful colours, perhaps to us more modern people and doing modern military vehicles and obviously modern military aircraft, because I think then it will come out be a lot more interesting and useful for us, because obviously unless you're into Luftwaffe and things like that, there's not a lot of point into these ones. That said, there is lots of other companies out there that actually do acrylic markers which are really good. One of them, because I have to do it because Karine will kill me, is obviously with the Display. Display do a range. I don't do a massive range. Theirs is more focused on the sort of Gunpla and Gundam stuff, so it's a lot of their types of colours with it. I do find that their nibs are better than the nibs on here, but the colour is on a par. They're exactly the same, but the DSP range is very, very limited, or the Display range is very limited. So with these, but there is other manufacturers out there. If you have a look around on Amazon and markers, it has been an absolute game changer for me, especially doing things like metals and silvers and stuff like that, because the markers in this range are fantastic for it. And then that way you can just paint them on the sprue. Yes, I do paint on the sprue. And then obviously you can then just remove them from the sprue, a little bit of cleanup, and then just touch them in with a marker pen. And within seconds, they're dry to touch and fit to your model. It has been a complete game changer for me using these ones over the course of this year. I tend to use it now on pretty much everything on an interior of a model. And I've done entire cockpits with it and everything else. If you've been following the Osprey build recently, I used it tons on that one, let alone lots of other aircraft and things I've been using it on as well. So again, I think really they are a complete game changer and a welcome addition to the hobby as well, because it just makes things easier, faster and cleaner. And if you do have health reasons where you can't airbrush, or you know, with paints and stuff like that, you can do just as much with these as you can with traditional brush painting, and you've got all the colors down in there that you'd ever need. So again, you don't have to go in a big box like this. They do them individually to have a go with them, and obviously they do them in little mini sets as well, which comes in really handy. Okay, Matt says I have to show you the PM apron. So we have the new PM Models apron, which apparently is a game changer. And to be honest, it is very nice. It's a very nice heavy duty canvas. Obviously, you need a Marset logo for this particular one. You've got your zippy pouch in the top, which is quite handy. And obviously you've got your pockets inside as well for putting your stuff in. But again, this is that thing about keeping clean and tidy, you know, yourself as well, and your clothes and everything else. So it's one of those things where many times, obviously I'm guilty of it. I've been sanding, using resins, things like that, or even just painting in the spray booth, and you end up dropping it down your front or down your trousers, and then your partner tends to go mental. So from that point of view, an apron. So obviously this is the PM one. It's available from the PM Models store, but don't forget there is other ones out there as well. So you can grab yourself an apron, but just keep yourself clean and tidy as you make your way through your modelling. Speaking of merch and aprons and things like that, don't forget you can get yourself a Flory Models mouse mat, which doubles up brilliantly as a photo etch bending pad as well. And obviously it will come with all the full sticker set and the card set as well. And again, if you want to grab one of those, you can do. They're up on the site now as well. They're just $18.29 or $9.95 including VAT. But don't forget you can get lots of other merch as well. So obviously you've got the lovely Karine here displaying these. We've got the t-shirts, we've got the aprons as well, we've got the hoodies, we've got the Flory Models mugs, and obviously we've got the glue holders and the actual micro set and sole holders as well. We've got the metal trays, and we have got a new limited edition one of those coming out as well. We're obviously celebrating the 20th anniversary of the washes. That'll be available a little bit later in the year coming down the line, and obviously all the tools we've got down there in there as well. Okay, and the last thing is the site, Flory Models. If you're not a member, why not? Join up, come and join us. Don't forget, if you go onto YouTube, I think it says we've got something like 2,700 videos. Trust us, we've got over 5,000 videos, is because obviously the other load of them all are hidden away in the members area only. Don't forget, not only do you get to see, there's around about over 100 members only videos for full build videos and things like that up on the site, which cover great subjects, a little bit of everything down in here, but these are all full video builds, which are usually a minimum of 10 parts. Some of them are 20-part videos, all into 30-minute segments all the way through. So we've got a lot of aircraft, as you see at the top. Then down in here, we've got armor, we've got work on dioramas, we've got a little bit of sci-fi, and it continues to grow all the time. Not only do you get all of these great video builds and everything in there like that, you also get free access into the forum, where you can join around about 2,500 members from all around the world to talk about the modelling as well. You can join in obviously with all the chats, with all the group builds, with all the SIGs that we get onto, and see all the live shows and members only exclusive stuff as well. All of that will cost you a measly £5 a month. That's it. It's around about £4 something or other as well in some places, because the VAT is slightly different as well. So literally for the price of a coffee for every month, you can get a video pretty much every single day. We tend to release between 7 to 6 to 8 videos every single week go up. So some of them will be live, some of them will be members exclusives, some of them will be review ones going out as normal, and obviously things like the Friday catch-up show. But if you want to help us, you want to support the channel, carry on doing what we're doing here with like-minded people from all around the world and some of the most friendliest group you'll ever find on the internet, then feel free to join us. Just go along to the actual main site, click on the actual membership button. Obviously links are down below as well, and you can join us here at Flory Models. And there we go. That's the 12 tools of Christmas. Hopefully they're going to help you and improve your modelling just as much as they've helped me improve my modelling as well. So till later, everybody, happy modelling, happy Christmas, take care.